trends in trust over time from organisations, so businesses, government, NGOs, media. This year it's had an unprecedented drop, which I think then follows that trend of I can't trust anyone.
Using an AI note taker, cool, that's fine. But then when you use like ChatGPT to write a post to your business, people are like, ugh, I want to stay away from that.
I think it's easy to blame AI and technology, but actually it depends on how you use the technology. It depends on the
I don't
context.
think that's the root cause though.
It's not.
Before we kick off today's episode, I've got a few recommendations for you. First recommendation I've got for you is to take your commission more seriously, and the only way to really do that effectively is to deal with Carl at Conquest. Carl and the team really have their finger on the pulse with everything to do with commissions for your business, how much your guys are going to earn, how much they're currently tracking to earn, what your competitors are paying, what competitive landscape is out there, what your commission structure should look like. If you want to take commission seriously, and doing so will attract the right talent to your business and increase performance, get in touch with Carl at Conquest. Another recommendation I've got for you is Ben Fielding at Quinset. Now, we know in 2025 and onwards, email deliverability is more important than it's ever been before. With so much spam and junk mail and the amount of outreach messages that just don't land where they're meant to, sometimes your agency messages can get lost in the shuffle. You don't want to be in the junk mail. You don't want to be outside of the focused inbox. You don't want to be sending interview invites and having to ask your prospects and your candidates to check their junk. So if you want to sort that problem out and you want to continue to grow and scale your recruitment business, get in touch with Ben Fielding at Quinset. My next recommendation to you is Ross Thompson and the team at Infinity Staff Global. Infinity Staff Global are an employer of record who specialise in finding you staff based out in South Africa, but that work for you. Outsourcing and offshoring is the secret to growing and scaling a recruitment business in 2025 and onwards. And I highly recommend that you consider South African staff for your recruitment business, be it in a sales capacity, i.e. 180 or 360 degree recruiters, be it marketing, be it administrative functions, back office support, anything that you might need for your recruitment agency. Get in touch with Ross and the team on the details in the description. The final recommendation I've got for you is Matt Fox at Exodus Advisory. Exodus Advisory was born out of Matt's journey selling his recruitment business. Along the way, the journey was incredibly difficult. There was a lot of forwards and backwards. There was things that he wished he knew back then that would have changed some of the things that he did with his business. So Matt set up Exodus to help recruitment businesses be exit ready. This is not an overnight thing, and the last thing you want to be doing is having to exit your business, not because you want to, but because you have to. So if you're looking to plan an exit in 3 to 5 years' time, Matt Fox is the guy you need to be speaking to.
Hello and welcome to the Talking Talent podcast. I'm Sean Kennedy, your host, joined by my fellow host Nitin Sharma, the host of the Rec Talk podcast. And we're here today joined by the lovely
Emily Firth from TheTruthWorks.
Fantastic. So Emily, you've just done a talk yourself here at IHR. Although I know like thoroughly now what yours is about. For the audience itself, like what was your talk about? What did you go into? What was your mission statement to get across to people?
Okay, for the listeners at home, I was talking about how to build or rebuild trust in your employer brand in what is a bit of an artificial age that we live in at the moment.
That's a tough gig in today's world though, right? When like literally everything is smoke and mirrors. Most of what you see on social media is a lie. And people are now firmly accepting of the fact that, the whole world is just like full of pockets of bullshit, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. So that must be a pretty tough gig right now.
I always find it interesting. Yes, short answer. I always find it interesting to look at how social trends impact the employer-employee relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking we get stuck in our bubble of, okay, it's about recruitment and talent marketing and what are the trends there. But actually socioeconomic trends also dictate what we think about and what we believe when it comes to our jobs.
Yeah.
And at the moment, the default is to mistrust things when you see them, right? So to mistrust what you see on social, to mistrust what our leaders say, what our governments say, etc. So how does that then play out? Well, actually, that trend follows in the workplace. So I always like to look at the Edelman Trust Barometer, which comes out every year. They don't pay me. I just think it's interesting because they do it for 25 years. They should do, I know.
Yeah.
But they look at the trends in trust over time from organisations, so businesses, government, NGOs, media. And every year you see media go down, you see NGOs go down, you see government go down. you very rarely see employers, like it's actually been fairly consistent, the business trust, but actually this year it's had an unprecedented drop, which I think then follows that trend of I can't trust anyone. And I think that's also socioeconomic. It's increased layoffs, it's feeling like you're the first to go when a company's doing badly, it's feeling like your employer's not necessarily there to protect you. And what happens when we mistrust people is we get protectionist. We think, okay, I've got to look after myself. I've got to make sure that number one is okay.
Yeah.
And actually in the workplace context, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Because you want to feel like you're part of something. You want to feel like it's a collective endeavour.
But don't you think it's a little bit weird about where the mistrust comes from as well? Because half of it is like, when it comes to like, let's say AI in general, like half of it is like, yeah, if you're using an AI note taker, cool, that's fine. You know, no one bothers to think of that as mistrust or anything like that. But then when you use like, let's say for example, ChatGPT to write a post to your business, you know, the message isn't coming across as clearly from a real individual. People are like, ugh, I want to stay away from that. I don't trust the brochure matches the holiday.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's more like would I be right in saying from your side, it's more context of where the AI is being used or where the mistrust is coming from a certain aspect?
Context is important. I think it's easy to blame AI and technology for increased mistrust. But actually, it depends on how you use the technology. It depends on the
I don't
context.
think that's the root cause, though.
It's not.
I think the root cause is further than that, which is things like, as you said, the increased layoffs. No one feels secure. Not many people feel secure in their jobs anymore.
I've been laid off twice this year.
People are lied to. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
We're all
yeah,
job hugging, aren't we?
No, but
allegedly?
people are lied to, right?
Yeah.
When you then, like, you start a job with a business that are like, yeah, we want you to do this. And then you start, and then your scope of work is all of this as well, because, you know, it's just how it is, you know.
You're here now.
No, exactly, right? And so
You're
that's
here now, and you
happened.
should be grateful.
Exactly, right? Be grateful. We're giving you this opportunity. There's no shortage of applicants. Blah blah blah. So yeah, I don't think it's like a technology thing, AI or automation or whatever. I think generally speaking, people are just sort of like, this is just all nonsense. And I think a lot of it comes down to things like pushing people back into the office because there's a level of mistrust. You know, we think you're not as productive as you once were. You need to get back in the
That's
office.
all about trust.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Well,
I do think
yeah,
though.
it's about trust.
It's also about office buildings that are empty. But
No.
Yeah.
My theory on this is that any leadership team that is saying that they need people back in the office to boost productivity needs to invest in themselves to learn how to manage people remotely. Because I know lots of businesses that are fully remote and are doing incredibly well and have incredibly professionally productive people in those teams. You know what I mean? So
sometimes more productive.
yeah,
But it's also,
you got to figure out how to manage these
someone
people.
who loves remote working, there are some cases where like the individual will ruin it for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Like, because you see, I remember I was in Next a few weeks ago getting some like stuff for the kids, and I saw a woman walking around on a Zoom call. Obviously her camera's off, and I chipped in and went, yeah, completely agree, Greg. Like, complete blank straight face, like she's just at home in the office, but she's doing her shopping, clearly not paying attention. But then like instances like that, and you get people like, you're going to town on a Thursday. Yes, I was one of those people in town on a Thursday going to get my lunch. Then we're going to do an extended shop. I'm not working at the moment, so I'm allowed to. So, but then you get these people that...
But does it matter if your output's the same? Because realistically,
shouldn't,
if
no.
you think people aren't multitasking in the workplace and planning their holidays and their
You're an idiot.
weddings on a
Yeah.
spreadsheet,
Yeah.
whilst quietly leaving their jacket on the back of their chair while they go out to lunch for 3 hours, like lack of productivity and
Well, if you're-
multitasking
yeah,
happens
yeah.
whether you're
If
in the office
hitting-
Exactly,
or not.
yeah.
You're hitting where you need to be.
People are going to
Do-
work the amount that they work regardless of where they are.
Exactly.
Right? There's no one that's sat in the office being like, I'm just so much more productive here because people are watching me.
Yeah.
Like, no, children are like that. Adults don't operate that way.
And if your people have extra time to multitask, they're not being given clear goals, clear KPIs, they're not motivated to get stuff done, they don't feel like they're part of a team. Again, that speaks to culture, not to where you are.
But why should they be motivated to do more?
It's a good question.
Right?
That's the value
If
exchange
that's
part.
outside the scope of your work, and not realistically need to do it, unless there's no motivation, why?
Why am I doing this?
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
yeah.
And that's the
I've got
difficulty,
two
right?
remote staff out in South Africa, right? I check in on them maybe twice a week. We have a WhatsApp group, and if they need me for something, we're on there. If there's something I need them to do, they're on there. I trust and have to trust that they're working. But like, I'll get a message from GJ being like, oh, my girlfriend needs to go to the doctors, blah, 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 or chemist or whatever, it needs to pop out. Do you mind if I do it? And I'm like, don't tell me, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be like I messaged you and you didn't respond back. Where were you? What were you doing? I don't care. If the outputs are there and they know their deliverables, they know what they're supposed to do. As long as that's done, I don't want you working 40 hours a
And
week.
maybe
Do
what
it
they
in 20.
get from your working for you is that trust, is that level of flexibility, is the clear goals, clear outcomes, etc.
That's it.
So we work a lot in employer value propositions as well, which we always say to companies, okay, why do you want an employer value proposition? Do you even know what that means? Do you
'Cause
just
everyone
want
else has
some
got one.
content
Yeah,
or whatever?
yeah.
But actually,
My
what
mate's
you're
got one who runs a company.
exactly.
Yeah.
What you're fundamentally talking about is a value exchange. So what is it you are offering? And that can encompass everything. That can go from benefits to flexibility to just an environment where you can be yourself, right? It can be one of those intangibles that you offer in return for your service 5 days a week, whatever it is. And ultimately, sometimes you can speak tangibly to things like promotions. Sometimes it will be intangible. But defining that as an actual value exchange with clear parameters. Also, what do I expect from you in return?
Yeah.
So it's not a video, it's not positioning, it's not campaign. It's what your value prop is.
Yeah.
So we're always
No,
pushing
yeah,
back
you're
on what
absolutely right.
the objective is.
I think, putting it back into, again, my context and my world, my guys, could they earn more money working for someone else? Absolutely. And they know they could. But they don't want to. Because for them, it's like, yeah, but I'm going to have to clock in, clock out,
Yep.
let them know what I'm
There's a
doing.
monetary value to flexibility.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it.
And there will always be someone who can pay better.
Yeah.
So you have to look
Yeah.
beyond pay.
And that's not a race you want to start running.
Yeah. The older you get, the more things come up, like kids now, I need to do the school run.
Yeah.
Simple things like that go so much further than I need to be in the office 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I'll pay you 20 grand more.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
But I need to see you. Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, well, to be honest with you, that doesn't really compute. I'd rather have less and be able to do more. So I think flexibility comes. That's the number one reason. We recently did a survey. The last place we were at was the number one reason people look for roles now or to change roles is because of flexibility. COVID's given us this, God rest its soul, has given us this like.
It's not over, I hate to tell you.
I know 3 people who have
It's having
it
a
right now.
resurgence.
I know 3 people who've got it, and I'm like, how
Should
the
we
fuck
even
do
be
you
actually?
know?
Should we be social distancing?
Yeah.
Could you sit a couple of meters away? Great, good to know. Thanks. I'm just going to go put my mask on.
No,
Sean's like, lunch was nice, but I couldn't taste it.
I've never smell anything in weeks.
Yeah, exactly. No wonder that popcorn doesn't taste or anything. No, it is a tricky time for employers and employees. Look, and I actually sympathise a lot with employers because I think the expectations that employees have are higher.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing then is to be really honest about what you can offer
But
and
as
not
so they should, though.
overpromise.
But as so they should. Like, employees should have high expectations
Yeah,
from their
of course they
employees.
should.
Just like their customers should have high expectations. There's a significant sort of dip in the quality I've seen certainly in the UK of output. Right, things like staff don't seem to care as much anymore, but also like the quality of product and produce is declining because the staff don't care as much anymore. And so as consumers, you sort of sit there and like, what the fuck's going on?
Well,
Like,
the
you know
fact
what I
that
mean?
there are bits like, there are things coming out like quiet quitting
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You just clearly tell people just don't
But
care.
all of it is the same topic we always talked about, which is disengagement.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
not a trend so much as understanding why are people disengaged. And it's a feeling of lack of security in the future, for one thing. You don't know what's going on in the world, and therefore you're just trying to focus on getting through the day-to-day. People aren't making 5-year plans. And I think that's a problem when you're an employer, because if someone's not thinking about their hopes and dreams, they're just in survival. If you look at your sort of need state pyramid, right? They're in survival mode, they're in basic needs mode, they're in can I put food on the table mode.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to paint a picture of, well, the company's growing, so in the future you'll be growing.
Yeah.
What people need is actually their basic needs met now. So I think we're also going to see a return to real clarity, real simplicity in employer value propositions. I can meet your basic needs, whether that's flexibility, whether that is knowing that there is a job security here because we're an established brand. I think the day of come and work for this rocket ship with a future promise of gold and glory is
Doesn't work,
scary
yeah.
for
It
people
doesn't
right
work, doesn't
now.
work.
They're not
Because
as
too many people
interested.
have seen people that have had their fingers burnt
Yeah.
in that world, right? I wonder though what your thoughts are on the transparency piece, as in it's all well and good being like, look, the business is doing really well right now, so here's a clearly defined career goal and an aspiration ladder for you to climb. But what about when the business isn't doing so well?
How transparent should you be?
Should the employer be like, listen guys, we're like, things are tough right now. We need everyone to pull their socks up. We need revenue. We need to be driving these performance measures, because otherwise we're all out.
Yeah. The secret is to motivate, make it a shared goal and a shared problem without freaking people out. But that's also about communication and strategy, and not about just showing the numbers, but providing context for the numbers. Like, we understand why we're in this position. We're going to explain it to you in a way that's human and relatable, and we're going to show you our plan and strategy to get out of it. But we can't do it without you. That's where I think leaders really need, like, just the comms basics. And it's amazing to me how few leaders are actually able to tell a compelling story and very clearly explain your role in it. Because comms isn't necessarily their speciality, and we think comms is easy. We think comms is read from a script, deliver a video piece to camera. It's not. It's storytelling. If you think about, having to motivate troops on the battlefield, the great leaders of history, they were compelling orators, like those historical.
Yeah, don't say the names. We don't want this episode.
Right? No, I know, but it's the sort of it's Queen Elizabeth. I have the
I'm not going to say it.
I was going to say she has the heart and soul of a man, or whatever it is. I have the courage and conviction to do this. It's you have to be a powerful orator to turn it around.
She had a great comms team.
Exactly, she had a great comms team. But leaders today skimp on comms, they fire their comms team, and they won't hire a comms agency, and they think it's fine, I'll just tell people they need to work harder. That doesn't motivate people. It either scares them,
Papa needs a new
or
watch.
It makes them think, God, I better jump ship before I have to.
Yeah.
And also showing that you are sacrificing something too. So what are you as a leader doing to dig us out of this situation?
Sell your Rolls Royce and buy a used Bentley.
Kind of.
The staff need to see that you're making adjustments.
We're taking a pay cut. We're all taking a pay cut. We're all trying,
That's where the servant leadership style comes into it as well. Because rather than just asking people to do something, you've got that pyramid that you're holding for. Sorry, I keep taking it away.
Yeah, it keeps going further and further away.
Keep it close. Bring it in.
So you've got the servant leadership style, as opposed to the normal leadership style, which is like all the lower people at the bottom end of the pyramid lifting it up, and all the pharaohs at the top, right? Flip it on its head. The leadership should be pushing the people at the bottom upwards.
That's the Japanese business model, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how they supposedly run their businesses. It's an interesting one, though, I think, because I think the life of a business owner and founder, and even up to like CEO, director level, it's very comparable to the life of a parent, right? In that you have these people that look to you to know everything. You should have all the answers. And as someone who grew, scaled, and ultimately failed a business, there is nothing worse than sitting in a boardroom with all your team and telling them party's over, it's time to go home. We fucked it. You know what I mean? And because these people,
especially if they're blindsided, right?
That's it, right? And because they're looking at you for the answers. They're like, do you remember that moment when you're no longer a kid anymore, and you're like, oh shit, my parents don't know anything. I thought they knew everything. I thought they had their shit together, and then you go. You don't know fuck all.
But is having all the answers the way you build resilient children, or is getting them to their own answers the way that you build resilience for them? Because is it the right way to parent?
Coaching and leading, right? I think you can still know the answers, but coach people to the conclusion. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Let's take a short break for a moment from this incredibly interesting podcast to hear about the 4 recommendations I've got for you again for your growing, scaling and ambitious recruitment business. First recommendation I've got for you is to take your commission more seriously, and the only way to really do that effectively is to deal with Carl at Conquest. Carl and the team really have their finger on the pulse with everything to do with commissions for your business, how much your guys are going to earn, how much they're currently tracking to earn, what your competitors are paying, what competitive landscape is out there, what your commission structure should look like. If you want to take commission seriously, and doing so will attract the right talent to your business and increase performance, get in touch with Carl at Conquest. Another recommendation I've got for you is Ben Fielding at Quinset. Now, we know in 2025 and onwards, email deliverability is more important than it's ever been before. With so much spam and junk mail and the amount of outreach messages that just don't land where they're meant to, sometimes your agency messages can get lost in the shuffle. You don't want to be in the junk mail. You don't want to be outside of the focused inbox. You don't want to be sending interview invites and having to ask your prospects and your candidates to check their junk. So if you want to sort that problem out and you want to continue to grow and scale your recruitment business, get in touch with Ben Fielding at Quinset. My next recommendation to you is Ross Thompson and the team at Infinity Staff Global. Infinity Staff Global are a employer of record who specialise in finding you staff based out in South Africa, but that work for you. Outsourcing and offshoring is the secret to growing and scaling a recruitment business in 2025 and onwards. And I highly recommend that you consider South African staff for your recruitment business, be it in a sales capacity, i.e. 180 or 360 degree recruiters, be it marketing, be it administrative functions, back office support, anything that you might need for your recruitment agency. Get in touch with Ross and the team on the details in the description. The final recommendation I've got for you is Matt Fox at Exodus Advisory. Exodus Advisory was born out of Matt's journey selling his recruitment business. Along the way, the journey was incredibly difficult. There was a lot of forwards and backwards. There was things that he wished he knew back then that would have changed some of the things that he did with his business. So Matt set up Exodus to help recruitment businesses be exit ready. This is not an overnight thing, and the last thing you want to be doing is having to exit your business, not because you want to, but because you have to. So if you're looking to plan an exit in 3 to 5 years' time, Matt Fox is the guy you need to be speaking to.
I think often leaders think they have to be the parent. They think they have to have all the answers, and then they panic when they don't, and then they hide.
But when you don't, then go and invest in yourself. You'll invest in a new vending machine. You'll invest in a new sales team. You'll invest in a marketing team. You'll invest in a guy who walks around with a mirror and takes a picture of you and WhatsApps it to you, right? You'll invest in all that fun shit. Invest in yourself. Go and sit around a table full of other business owners and be like, guys, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this. I'm struggling with this. Somebody help me. You know what I mean?
And I think we're seeing more community now as well from business owners as well.
One of the most powerful things I've seen leaders do, the great ones are, will say, I don't know, but I'll go away and I'll
find out.
I'll find out.
Or I'll surround myself with damn smart people and I'll actually listen to them.
Yeah, exactly. A bit of accountability to say, I don't know what that is right now, but I will do.
Yeah.
We work a lot on leadership as well at the moment, because so much of your culture is driven by the leaders at the helm. And I actually think it's never been a harder time to be a leader, to be honest. I mean, you see it with our politics as well. Our leaders can't lead. So how do you expect business owners to fill that void?
Yeah.
Communication is incredibly difficult. And because of that mistrust, again, whatever you're communicating, people start from we've heard it all before.
Of course they do.
They're like, corporate buzzwords. So to really cut through, you have to really be able to sell a strategy.
And the thing is, if you constantly, taking it back to that parent analogy, right? If you're constantly introducing new ideas but never seeing them through, it just becomes a case of, here's mom's new boyfriend.
Shiny object syndrome.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's dad's new girlfriend again.
Yeah, there's only so many times you can pivot.
This is the one that's going to stick about now.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one. Oh, she's great because she likes to make pancakes. Whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it's sort of like, oh God, this again. He's on one again, or she's on one again. She's gonna we're doing this, and then 3 weeks later there's gonna be no follow up, no follow through, and then
I guess the other piece is, this is the hard journey we're going on, but you also need to be able to sell, this is what's in it for you, the other end. So yes, we've got to dig deep. Yes, we're going to ask you to do X, Y, Z. But what is in it for you? And that can't always be monetary, right? It could be, transparently, you will have a job at the end of it.
Yeah.
And in this climate, maybe that's okay to say, look, I don't want to make layoffs. Before it comes to that, we're going to need to pivot. We're going to need to do this. We're going to need to follow this strategy. I believe this is going to work. Here's why. And the prize is we all get to keep our jobs in an industry we do believe in and we do care about.
Honesty with people, though, right? The amount of trust that you will build by saying, listen, Emily, this is the crack. If we can't do this, there's no room for you here.
Really?
So you've got one or two options. Either help us and let's see if we can do this together. I think we can, but let's see if I need you to do this with me. Or I get it.
Yep.
Start looking for another job.
Yes.
Secure yourself an opportunity, because without you, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The trust piece is so hard to get back once you've lost it as well.
Yeah.
Once you've made that mistake, once you've pivoted too many times, once you've done something erratic as a leader, or you've said something that has a lasting impression, you've said you don't care about flexibility or you don't care about parents or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very hard to convince people genuinely when you roll back that position or when you try to say something different, because they remember the worst
that
bit.
damage
I've seen it firsthand in the last year. I got laid off from a company. I was
Womp
the
womp.
womp womp womp. I was laid off twice this year, but no, that's no.
Womp
no,
womp.
go
But you're a
me.
great interviewer, so you know.
Clearly, right? I can get a job like that.
Exactly.
But they every time that a layoff would happen during the company, they made sure that it was called something different.
All right, it's a restructure,
Such as?
it's a reshuffle.
Restructure was the
It's
first
another cabinet
one,
reshuffle.
a strategic alignment. Then it was they did hold their hands up and they were like, yeah, we made layoffs. And then they were like, we're utilizing generative AI to optimize our business workflow.
Yeah,
I
my
was
job's
like,
been replaced by a
by-
robot. Got
yeah,
it.
Yeah, cool, nice. And then, well, like when people don't call it out how it is as well, and they kind of use cloak and daggers, like smoke bombs, to be like, I'm not going to call this because I want to save some face. They lose so much respect. And if you're watching, you know who you are. But I just hate it. Sorry.
No,
I could have
it's,
rambled on
but
a lot
again,
further,
that's a trust thing, though, isn't it? Again,
it's so bad.
it comes back down to like you think you're being clever, you think you're being smart with you're being a wordsmith. Oh, well, just
But then we
position,
start to see the
well, just
telltale
position it
signs.
this way. No, people aren't stupid.
No.
Like, you're treating people as if they're stupid, and unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, fortunately, those people will go and find employment in places where they are valued and they are looked after, and there's no room. Yeah, I think it's a good thing that we are where we are. We're in this information age where people are a lot more clued up. Whether it's employees, whether it's consumers, people have access to tons of information and are able to make their own minds about things that they otherwise weren't able to do. And so we're, as millennials now, we seem to be driving a change in the workforce that's never been done before. And whilst there's the generations above us that are still in leadership posts, it's hard to push that change through because they're still stuck in the good old days.
Yeah.
But it's only a matter of time. It's a ticking time bomb, right? They're coming towards the latter ends of their careers. When our guys and our generation get into those leadership posts, that's when I think we'll see a significant shift in how businesses operate and the level of honesty and trust that they put into their employees. And that model that you say where the pyramid's upside down, that's where I think that will come in, when our generation are in those C-suite positions.
Well, if you even look at the way people are searching for jobs, right? If you think people are going to your career site and browsing your videos and they're not on like
80% of job seekers now use a mobile phone.
they're also using AI search engines. Like they're basically, if you
Yeah,
even got your GEO sorted, you know, like what is a generative engine? What's a large language model saying about your company? Because they're pulling from Reddit. Because Reddit is an amazing source.
Yeah.
Because it's all long form answers to complex questions.
And it's unhinged as well.
And it's unhinged. But so Reddit actually is one of the primary sources for AI to pull from. And you think, well, I've updated my career site with my latest messaging about what a great place to work it is. So what are your talents saying about you? And how are you seeking to optimize and put alternate perspectives out there, which are also true, right? I'm not suggesting put fake perspectives out. But you need to start thinking people are searching for long form reviews, recommendations,
so Emily's advice
perspectives.
is to basically engage with an army of bots on Reddit about how amazing your business is. But long form.
Bots
though.
read bots. No, bots want to pull quality sources, right? So you need to start thinking about creating long form content that tells a real story.
Yeah.
Get your CEO on videos. Get people in your company talking about the real experience, not how great it is, but like the real.
Though, right? So if you're full of shit, you will actively shy away from that.
Yeah,
because you don't want people to pull the
we don't
curtain
want the
back,
truth
right?
out there.
No,
Truth's already out
you
there.
don't want to do that and see that the Wizard of Oz is actually just a guy like, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to see. So if I think, I mean, like and so that's the problem. It's like fundamentally the issue lies with. If you're not doing it, not doing it because, or the impression is that you're not doing it because you're hiding something.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people are sniffing out now and kind of being like, can't find anything on this company.
Exactly.
Their Glassdoor page is like full of the same sort
Full
of
of
comments.
the same generic comments. Yeah.
Reviews on Google is the same.
Yeah.
Can't see them on Reddit.
So you know what I'll do? I'll find a friend of a friend who works there on LinkedIn and I'll ask them for the tea. You're not going to go into an interview now realistically without getting an honest perspective. So fix your employee experience first.
Yeah.
Make sure people have something nice to say about you, and then help support people who do have nice things to say about you, or at least honest things to say about you that you don't mind being out in the world, to talk about that at scale.
Yeah.
I had an example in my talk earlier, which was I work on employer branding with a dairy company. So they get a lot of shit. Obviously, people are like, it's not Muller, I'm not going to tell you the name. They're milking it, yeah. No, but they obviously get a lot of questions to their employees. When their employees go to barbecues at the weekend, this was their reference, not mine. they're getting a lot of questions like, oh, you work for a dairy companies are evil, it must be awful working there, you're polluting the environment, etc., etc. So instead of just trying to push through that perspective, they were like, we know that people are getting these questions, so we've provided a barbecue guide for our employees. So if you're getting shit from your friends, like, here are 5 things you might want to say about what we're doing, not here's a script that's all perfect. It's like, yeah, you're right, like, dairy is a big polluter, it is a problem, but here's how we're working to improve it, here's what roles we have in the company that actually are trying to fix the supply chain, fix the impact, etc. It's just like leaning into the fact that people are going to have things to say about you that are difficult, and instead of being afraid of that, going, yeah, you're right, do you know what? Let's help people have those conversations in a more constructive way.
Do you think, like, do you think the employees are going to have you seen the case studies off the back of that?
Well, I guess the employees just feel equipped. They're like, instead of feeling exposed, because if they work there already, they're obviously proud to work there for the most part, or they're happy to put it on their CV. So they're actually the best ambassadors. They're going to say, do you know what? It's a bit crap that all my friends and family think that I work in a horrible industry, because actually the work I'm doing helps infant nutrition in India, and that's amazing.
I don't know about you, but if any of my mates were like, yeah, you work for a shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean,
shut the fuck up.
That's the kind of avenue I was getting.
Of course you could.
I don't need a PR.
It'd be
pack
nice
from
if
my
you could
employer.
say, shut the fuck up, and by the way, I'm doing this, and actually I'm helping people, so.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, my dad taught me, you're walking down the street, you see a donkey, you go over, oh, it's a donkey, and the donkey kicks you. Do you kick it back? Or do you just
Where are you going with this analogy?
Or do you just go, it's a donkey, donkey's kick? Like, there's no point in me arguing with a donkey. I'm not going to kick it back.
I see.
Just won't get so close
We're
to the donkey next
post-debate.
time, right?
Yeah, but you might lose all your
So
friends that way.
if I'm going, yeah, but listen, if all my friends are like,
You heard it here
shouldn't
first,
work at a
gang,
dairy
don't kick
farm, I'd be
donkeys.
like, I don't want to be mates with. We're at a barbecue,
fair.
for fuck's sake.
Exactly, be fun.
No, we're at a barbecue. We're eating meat, and you're gonna give me grief for
People
like
always
working
talk about work at a
nah.
barbecue.
Nah. You
I
ain't
know a
got
lot
work
about
though.
it,
You
yeah.
haven't got work though, innit? Yeah. How's work, Sean? Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
Next question,
Stop.
Don't
please.
talk about it.
Can we talk about anything else?
Moving on. I feel like people talk about work a lot in their private lives at the moment,
Okay.
either bitching about their job.
Look at you
or-
with all your merch.
Well, it depends on my friendship group. I have one friendship group that is recruiters. A few of them here today.
Yeah,
Get
We
it all.
do get really into it.
yeah.
And then there's another group that I got like
That's because they're in like a support help group.
yeah.
Recruiters Anonymous.
But then another group I've got like mates that are tradies and like if I even spoke about recruitment, they'd go, we don't care.
Well, it's the difference between people who leave their jobs at the 9 to 5 and then they leave and they don't have to think about it anymore. And then there's the people who are like, oh God, I better update my LinkedIn. I better be networking 24 hours a day. It's hustle culture, isn't it? Anyway.
Indeed. So how long have you been working, well, I say working at, well, how long have you been running TheTruthWorks?
So me and my co-founder Rhiannon have been doing it for about 6 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, but before that I was in-house at booking.com, so I have been on the other side of the fence, which was fun, interesting, learned a lot. And yeah, we work with companies all over.
See, now I want to know what happened at booking.com that made you be like, we need to open a business that's purely ingrained in telling the truth, because this place ain't it. Like, you know what I mean?
There's got to be a bit of context there.
There's a little bit of context. I think I was head of employer branding there. I definitely also always thought that my job was to definitely sell the truth. I think when you feel like you're overselling an external perception and the internal experience isn't there yet, it's frustrating. But for me, I wanted to fix the internal experience as well, because it was great in some ways, but I felt like I was selling it too well. And then I thought, it's annoying not being a consultant, because when you're in-house, you're in a little box in a vertical, and then your job is, no, just attract people to the company. And I thought, well, actually, I've gained a load of insight about what people really want, and now I want to help create more transformation internally, but it wasn't my job.
In another world, they would pay somebody like you to come in and tell them what you're telling them already, right? So you're
there
sort
were
of
people
like,
in those roles. I just wanted to do it all, basically. I'm just selfish.
That was a building block to becoming a founder, basically.
Consultancy basically means you get to wear a lot of different hats, you get to join the dots, you get to see the matrix, and I didn't really like being in-house, because you're supposed to stay in your lane in-house. You can stay in your lane, you can do really well, but you can only do really well on your one thing. And every company needs improvement. It wasn't that they had a bad experience, it was more, there were so many ways I could see to optimize it, but it wasn't my job.
I hear that.
So now I can do that from the outside.
There you go. Yeah. Any closing thoughts, anything, words of wisdom, any advice you've got for business owners or businesses, or even just something motivational that somebody might hear and be like, oh, I like that.
I guess stop being afraid of the truth about your company because it's probably already out there. So instead of trying to do
hiding it.
instead of being protectionist, lean into it, embrace it, find who that truth would be exciting and compelling for, and then like use the power of it, like own that space and be okay with it. And once you start from like a really honest place, it gets a lot easier. And then if you're not comfortable with it, think about maybe fixing it.
No, that's work.
It's work.
That's work.
Isn't it?
That's hassle.
Yeah, but it's less expensive work than recruiting people into a fake promise and then losing them again, right?
True.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to hire consultants. We're really nice. We get shit done. We're very helpful.
Self-plug
We'll
at the
tell you
end,
how it is. I've done no self-promotion all
PS,
day, so
buy
here
my
it
shit.
is.
Yeah.
The TruthWorks are great. No, if you want an honest roast on your employee experience or employer brand, I will happily give it to you.
There we go.
With solutions.
There we go. Perfect.
It's very nice to meet you both.
Yeah, like
Thanks
you,
for having
mate.
me.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Is that right? Do you want to wrap it up?
Oh, right. I thought you did that. I forgot it was...
Oh, no, I'll wrap it up then. I'll wrap it
Yeah,
up.
go on.
Get up, Sean.
There we go.
Guys, that's all from us. Thank you for listening, watching, liking, subscribing, doing all the cool shit that you guys do that allow us to do this as a job. We'll see you again next week for another episode of Talent Talks. Talking Talent. We keep
doing
Talent
it.
Talk should have just been what we
Get
called it, right?
your plug right.
Do you know what it is?
I know.
It used to be called Rec Talk. It is called Rec Talk. We're doing a TA thing.
Talking Talent is like a sister
Talking
company
Talent
of...
is like, a version of aimed at
I
these
really
people.
hope this makes it into the edits. Brilliant.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. Well, I don't put anything else.
Who are
to
we?
edit it.
What are we called?
some guys who've got a lot of time on their hands to do
See,
a podcast.
this was seamless. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, I've got
It's
a
honest,
day
right?
in
It's
the
honest.
week of the calendar to fill with a release. I want to be the only podcast that does 5 episodes a week. This was the way to do it.
Yep.
Until he gets a job and he's like, oh, mate, yeah, what it is, mate, I'm too busy, mate. I can't do it anymore.
Sorry.
My boss won't let me do it.
Stephen Bartlett doesn't have to put up with this shit, does he?
No, he's a...
Scott.
We'll leave it there.
And that's the end of another episode of Rec Talk. I hope you enjoyed that one thoroughly as much as I did recording it. And I'll leave you with my 4 recommendations that I gave you at the start of this video and in the middle. Get in touch with these guys. They know what they're doing. First recommendation I've got for you is to take your commission more seriously. And the only way to really do that effectively is to deal with Carl at Conquest. Carl and the team really have their finger on the pulse with everything to do with commissions for your business. How much your guys are going to earn, how much they're currently tracking to earn, what your competitors are paying, what competitive landscape is out there, what your commission structure should look like. If you want to take commission seriously, and doing so will attract the right talent to your business and increase performance, get in touch with Carl at Conquest. Another recommendation I've got for you is Ben Fielding at Quinset. Now we know in 2025 and onwards, email deliverability is more important than it's ever been before. With so much spam and junk mail and the amount of outreach messages that just don't land where they're meant to, sometimes your agency messages can get lost in the shuffle. You don't want to be in the junk mail. You don't want to be outside of the focused inbox. You don't want to be sending interview invites and having to ask your prospects and your candidates to check their junk. So if you want to sort that problem out and you want to continue to grow and scale your recruitment business, get in touch with Ben Fielding at Quinset. My next recommendation to you is Ross Thompson and the team at Infinity Staff Global. Infinity Staff Global are an employer of record who specialise in finding you staff based out in South Africa, but that work for you. Outsourcing and offshoring is the secret to growing and scaling a recruitment business in 2025 and onwards. And I highly recommend that you consider South African staff for your recruitment business, be it in a sales capacity, i.e. 180 or 360 degree recruiters, be it marketing, be it administrative functions, back office support, anything that you might need for your recruitment agency, get in touch with Ross and the team on the details in the description. The final recommendation I've got for you is Matt Fox at Exodus Advisory. Exodus Advisory was born out of Matt's journey selling his recruitment business. Along the way, the journey was incredibly difficult. There was a lot of forwards and backwards. There was things that he wished he knew back then that would have changed some of the things that he did with his business. So Matt set up Exodus to help recruitment businesses be exit ready. This is not an overnight thing, and the last thing you want to be doing is having to exit your business, not because you want to, but because you have to. So if you're looking to plan an exit in 3 to 5 years' time, Matt Fox is the guy you need to be speaking to.